favorite stores.
Back here on Seahawks Game Day, the Seahawks beating the New Orleans Saints in a divisional playoff game 23-15. Let's head back out to CenturyLink Field where Michael Bennett's about to give Ian Furness a dance lesson in the locker room.
We'll probably do that at the end, Aaron. This is becoming a weekly occurrence. Frankly, I like it because 72 has been an impact player for Seattle all year long, and that was the case again today. Michael Bennett back with us, sack, strip, fumble, all that fun stuff. Let's talk about the emotions of the game, though, because that seemed like a very emotional game, a lot of talking going on.
It's emotional. They wanted to come out and, disrespect our team, putting their logo on their field and come out and, hitting our receivers late, hitting the quarterback late. So it was a very emotional game. We all feed off each other, and we love each other so much. They see guys out there getting hit late, it turns the game to emotional. You just want to go out there and make plays.
Let's talk about that because I know the fans were upset. A lot of people kind of questioning it. It's almost like they were targeting, especially number 11, for a while. You guys noticed that on the sideline, it sounds like.
We noticed it, man. Guys are hitting Percy late. Obviously, he didn't have the ball. Those guys are coming in, wouldn't even try to make the play. They was just trying to hit him and make dirty plays. And, as a football player, I think that's what the game doesn't need. As a player, we got to look out for each other because at the end of the day, guys still have families on the other team. If you got a chance not to do a cheap shot, that's what the game is. We all players and we all have families, and we just need to play better as a whole group and as a whole NFL.
I don't think that this defense needs any extra motivation, but they gave it to you. You talked about the disrespect, putting the logo on the field. You guys took that as a sign of disrespect too.
I took it as a disrespect. Jimmy Graham coming in yelling at the guys before the game. That's very disrespectful to our team and our organization, and we definitely don't like that kind of stuff.
Jimmy Graham was held almost without anything today. I mean, he was a non-factor in the football game. Why was that?
Because he's overrated, and he doesn't. If he doesn't get a chance to get the ball, he doesn't. That's all he can really do. He doesn't help in the blocking game, So I think he's overrated, and I'm not scared to say that on TV either.
Hey, you know what? Fantastic! And in the end, you guys have the scoreboard to prove it when it's all said and done. Got a little close at the end, and then obviously the ball kind of slipped by through Golden, and you had to go back out on the field. You were telling me before we came on that wet, slick field that affected everybody, especially Drew Brees, even you guys at the end.
It affected everybody. Nobody should be mad at Golden. If anybody in the world was out there and the ball was slippery like that, they would have dropped it too. Golden's a great receiver. It just happened that the ball took an extra bounce and ended up dropping it. But it's our job to go out there and make sure that stuff like that happens. We hold each other accountable and go out there and try to stop them from scoring.
Michael, sometimes offenses want. For you guys as a defense, do you want the game in your hands at the end?
I think that's what makes us different as a defense. We want that challenge. Richard Sherman, I think he wants to be challenged every day. That's what makes him the greatest corner and makes Earl Thomas and Cam one of the greatest safeties in the NFL because they like to be challenged. And up front, we want to be challenged too to put in those situations and make the game winner. That's what makes the great players. Bill Russell came and he talked about that. Guys wanting the ball in the last second, being able to get a chance to go out there and make the play.
There's a game tomorrow in the NFC, and whoever wins that has to come here next week with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Do you want to see one or the other?
Oh, no, man. Any team we play next week is going to be a great challenge. Both teams have a phenomenal defensive players, and have phenomenal offensive players. They're going to come out and run the ball. Either team we play, they're great rushing teams and great mobile quarterback. So any team we play is going to be a challenge next week.
What will the crowd be like next week in this building?
It's going to be even crazier. It was loud out there today. It's going to be crazy next week, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
I'm excited to have you in here every week. Can we make an appointment? We'll see you next week and talk about something else?
Yeah, if y'all get my jersey back there.
Yeah, we got an issue here, Aaron. We don't have a Michael Bennett jersey back here. We've been asking for a while. Got a lot of other guys back here. Maybe if you do the dance for us, can you give us a little, there we go, huh? There we go. Now, did he earn the jersey finally to get in here? Can you talk to the management, Aaron? Can you get the Michael Bennett jersey in here, please?
There is no question that Michael Bennett just earned a jersey.